Yo, Gentleman's Guide here. This is the fourth and final part of my text game series. As usual, if you haven't checked out parts 1 through 3 of the series, I highly recommend doing so I'll post the links right here. Alright, now on to the video. So following my last video, a subscriber sent me a question that I thought tied into today's topic. He asked, "Hey Gentleman's Guide, how do you actually tell if a girl is getting more invested through text? You can't really read her facial expressions or body language, so how do you know if she's really into you or replying just to be nice?" That's a great question. Truth is, there's two main things to consider when you're trying to figure out how into you she is. The first is response time, or how long she takes to respond. If she's responding quickly, like minutes after you text her, then chances are she likes you or at least thinks highly of you. On the other hand, if she's taking hours, even days to respond, then she's probably either not interested, talking to other guys, or both. So if a girl was taking a long time to reply to your text, like days, how do you think you should respond? What I suggest is to take approximately the same amount of time as her to respond back. If she's taking a few hours, then you should take a few hours as well. If she's taking 2 days to respond, then do the same. The reason this is important is because of something that I explained in my How to Attract 99% of Women video. But basically, the person who's more willing to walk away, or in this case, more willing to stop responding first, has more power in the interaction. So in general, you want to either be equally as invested as her, or less invested than her. If she's taking like 4 hours to respond, whereas you're replying to her as soon as you get her text, it's gonna make you seem needy, and way more invested in her than she is in you. On the other hand, if you're taking even longer than she is to respond, then the conversation is not going to go anywhere and you'll be wasting your time. Okay, now the second way to tell how invested she is the length of her texts. If she's sending you paragraphs with lots of emojis and LOLs, it should be pretty obvious that she's into you. On the other hand, if her text consists of mostly one word or one sentence answers, that should make it pretty clear to you that she's not as interested in you as you thought she was. So now that we know how to read a girl's text to see how invested she is, the question is, how do we increase her investment through text, right? How do we make her respond faster, with more thought into it than just one word or sentence? To figure this out, I experimented with a few different strategies and found something that works extremely well. It's something I call the challenge text. Basically, what you do is send her something that pushes back at her, something that kind of makes her jump through hoops, so to speak. Here's a few examples of using a challenge text so you have a clearer idea of what I mean. Let's say you haven't talked to her in a day or two, so you want to hit her up. Instead of saying something expected like, "Hey, what you up to today?" you can throw a challenge text at her like, "Hey, what cool things are you up to today?" By just adding the word cool, you make her have to stop and think, how should I respond? I don't want him to think I'm not cool, so I have to tell him some cool things I'm doing. That's what I meant by making her jump through hoops. You kind of want to make her feel like she has to comply to you. The reason the challenge text is so effective is because of human psychology. You see, when people get challenges thrown to them, it activates the fight or flight mechanism in the brain. They want to conquer the challenge. So when you send her a challenge, she'll want to answer it. And after she answers your challenge, she'll need to justify to herself why she answered it. And here's what I mean by this. According to a survey conducted by UC Berkeley, when a group of students were asked why they felt their study habits would continue working for them even though their classes were getting harder and their grades were getting lower, most answered, "Because I've always done it this way." Similarly, when groups of athletes were asked why they chose their specific workout regimen, most athletes answered that they've been doing these drills since a very young age. The researchers found that in general, when people make decisions, they need to justify to themselves why they made that decision or did that action, which raises their level of commitment to whatever they chose to do. So in other words, when you make her jump through a hoop, she'll need to justify to herself why she did that for you, which will raise her investment in the conversation. Here's another example of a challenge text. Let's say you met a girl during your vacation to Los Angeles. When you eventually have to go back home, she says, "Oh, let me know when you're back in LA." Using the challenge text, you might say something like, "Sure, just send me a picture so I don't forget what you look like." Again, just a little teasing, a hoop she has to jump through, which we already explained will increase her investment in you. So to summarize today's video, 2 ways you can tell if a girl is interested in you over text is how much time she's taking to respond and how long her texts are. The quicker she's taking to respond and the longer her texts are, the more likely that she's into you, and the reverse applies as well. Also, if you want to raise her investment in the conversation and in you, try using the challenge text, which is pretty much letting her jump through a hoop. This will make her need to justify to herself why she responded to you, which will actually raise her commitment to the conversation. That's it for the video and for my 4-part text game series. I'll probably do another updated series on texting girls in the future, so definitely keep an eye out for that. And as usual, I'll be posting videos every week, so click here to subscribe and see you later. Peace.